Hi, viewers. Good day. My name is Paul, and you're welcome to the Opinion Sharers. Today, we have a very important guest in our midst, Mr. Oluwadele. And, Michael is going to be reading out his bio. But before we go to that, I am quickly going to share this just to invite people to watch this. So please give me just a few seconds. Michael.
Okay.
Yeah, can you please prepare the bio and let's have it.
All right. We have it already.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, viewers, and happy celebration. Perhaps if it is celebration, good. If it is sober reflection, good. Whichever way, it's fine. Today, as the host rightly said, we have on this platform an eminent person in person of Mr. Bolutife Oluwadele. He's a father figure to me. So without much ado, let me just read his profile to us. Mr. Oluwadele Bolutife is an accomplished chartered accountant, writer, entrepreneur, public policy scholar, and business and general management consultant. He funded Bolco Group, comprising Bolutife Oluwadele and Co., a chartered accountant, a professional accounting and audit firm, and a consulting firm. An exceptionally charismatic and engaging man who is very articulate and quite proficient in analyzing and detailing social and economic issues. And I want to believe that he will be talking about some of those issues as it affects our nation today. Preeminent in interpersonal team building skills and a leadership style characterized by dialogue and inclusion. Of course, I'm a witness to that. He has a master's degree in corporate governance from Leeds University, a certified fraud examiner, a trainer of no mean repute. He was awarded for technical concept development for the ICANN Canada International Accountants Conference. And lastly, also he has another master's degree with distinction in public policy and administration from Walden University, United States of America, a membership of Golden Key International, Honor Society, and Pi Alpha Award for Public Affairs and Administration. He lives in Canada and is the author of the book titled The Thoughts of a Village Boy. So his company name is A Village Boy, but as an old man, I wonder why he calls himself A Village Boy. So we'll get to know that as event unfolds. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. I've been struggling with this sharing this link. Please do check your WhatsApp in case you can see it. I tried sharing with you, but
go ahead, no problem.
It's misbehaving kind of.
Okay.
But please do check it if you can see it. If you can see it, please do share it. Viewers, please do share the link. Help us share the link, so that, because we are going to be discussing some very important topics. It's evening here, so I think it will be afternoon in Nigeria. So please do share it.
Done.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, done.
I already shared it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have, I'm still trying to share it here. Okay, so it's important that people get to see this. So he's a very, I consider him an eminent personality, a Nigerian by heart. All right, and I'm privileged to have been introduced to him recently. And so we are going to be talking about this important issue today, Nigeria. How far have we come? How has Nigeria impacted the average Nigerian? Because that's my focus. Nigeria has made some few billionaires, but majority of its citizens remain the poorest, among the poorest rather, in the world today. So I go to my questions to you, sir, because time is not really on our side. So my first question to you is this, and feel free to express yourself because that's why it is opinion sharers, where people are given opportunity to express themselves the way they would, not be able to on a conventional media platforms. So now, looking at Nigeria, sir, if Nigeria, let's say Nigeria is a man, right, a family man, and he's 60 years old today, and the citizens, the average citizens of Nigeria are his children. How would you, how would you analyze that man? How would you describe that man as an editor yourself, an accountant? How would you assess that man, Nigeria?
Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Michael, for the introduction. Yes, I remain the village boy. Once a boy is always a boy. And we don't forget our roots, irrespective of where we have been or where we are. So that, having said that, Nigeria, actually somebody asked me this same question yesterday, that Nigeria at 60, what if we see Nigeria as an individual, or when we see Nigeria as a nation? As a nation, Nigeria at 60 is still very young nation, you can say. But young does not mean irresponsibility. You can be young and can be responsible. As Nigeria as a nation be very responsible, if we are going to be very sincere with ourselves, we will say that Nigeria has not shown sufficient responsibility to our citizens. In the sense that if we are now the headquarters of poverty, which is very sad, despite the fact that we are supposed ideally to be a land flowing with milk and honey. So if we now, for any reason, we become the headquarters of poverty, we cannot say that this old man or this young man at 60 has done very well. But again, that is the best we can do. We can do a parallel between a man and a nation. An individual man at 60 is already at the evening of his life. He's already losing energy, he's already losing steam. There's much he can do at 60. Because from 60, whether that evening will be shorter or it will be longer, the fact that when you are at 60, you are already at the evening of your life. So, having said that, let's come back to Nigeria as a nation. Yes, we cannot delude ourselves that 60 years is not sufficient for us as a nation to do something meaningful. And if you want to compare ourselves with other nations who gained independence 60 years ago or thereabout, Ghana gained about 3 years before us. But if you look at our resources, if you look at our capability, we should, be far better than where we are. We cannot say that Nigeria has done very well. Nigeria as a nation has not done very well for our citizens. But are we going to write Nigeria off? I don't think we should write Nigeria off. Nigeria is still capable of reinventing ourselves. But before we can reinvent ourselves, we have to be very sincere with ourselves. I think as it is now, Nigeria is a nation that is living in denial. We are living in self-denial. And because of self-denial, we cover those self-denial with religion, we cover those self-denial with ethnicity. We are not, sometimes we don't even face the reality that are confronting us. And of course, we have not been very fortunate with leadership. We have not, be able to find the altruistic and the developmental focused leadership, as it were. So because of that, even in terms of poverty, an individual have said it several years that the strategy for average Nigeria is to personally escape poverty by himself or by herself. And when he does that, he doesn't care who else is poor again. So despite we have our foundation, we have our roots in communality. Nigeria is a communal society. Though that has been eroded again, I remember when we were growing up in the village, that's why we're so much, attracted and attuned to our village roots. We live a communal life. You can't misbehave on the street, and somebody will not, your distance cousin, your distance uncle will come after you and discipline you as if you are his or our own child. So that is the community we look after each other, we look out for each other. That is the community we grew up. But over time, that community has yielded to a kind of individualism. But unfortunately, we don't have a befitting infrastructure, a befitting structure to support individualism. If you are going to move away from communalism and allow people to become more individual, then you have to create a kind of enabling environment. You have to create a level playing field whereby people can maximize their potentials, where I don't have to know anybody to be what I mean. If I work hard, if I do my own diligence, I should be able to reach to the best I could ever reach. But Nigeria is not that society. Nigeria is a society whereby, they said jokingly that even when you go to party, as beautiful as jollof rice is, you have to have connection to be able to get a plate of jollof rice. So that is our sad reality. So if you are moving away from communality to individuality, then you have to have a society that is structured to be able to allow individual to reach his maximum without necessarily being afflicted with one person or the other. So because of that, Nigeria has not done well as a parent to our citizens, but Nigeria can still do better.
Thank you, sir. Nigeria has not done well as a parent, but it has potential to do better. All right. Moving forward, I want us to do us a favor here, because on this platform, I've actually been looking for somebody who understands Nigerian history, because there have been so many stories, because at some point history was nullified in our school system. Hopefully they are bringing it back. So I'm really excited that you have a background in history. So I want you to take us down memory lane, looking at our early leaders, the people that were pro-democracy, pro-independence, at the beginning of Nigeria. How would you rate them in terms of what they did right and what they did wrong? Because I believe that in most cases, as a social worker, what is wrong with an individual, every individual, is beyond what is seen with the physical eye. So please do take us to the root, and let's look at those men and women who started. What did they do right? What did they did wrong, in your own opinion?
Okay, here is the thing. Let me give a caveat here. I may be slightly biased in some analysis, though I will try to be as truthful as I can. Knowing the owners as a student of history, to speak the truth, as it were. But then, in 1960, when we gained independence, I was not around yet. Then, in 1963, we became a republic. By October 1st, 1963, we were already a republic. At that time, I was almost coming out. I was still hibernating in the womb. So I'm slightly, I was a bit caught up in the republic. So just shortly after we became a republic, I was born. But then I read some vision history that I can still recall them. If I want to move our way back to those days of West African Student Union, which were kind of activists that partook effectively in the independence movement, where you have all these big guys then. So then to the time that we have independence, and we are operating a regional government. In the region, we have the Awolowo in the west, we have Sadana in Kaduna in the north, and we have I think Mbakwe or whatever. No, I can't remember the Okpara. I think it should be the premier of the east. Then we have Tafawa Balewa as the Prime Minister of Nigeria, and Nnamdi Azikiwe was his ceremonial president as at that time. So at that time, because it was a regional government, everybody was moving at its own pace. And the West, that's why I will maybe slightly biased, the Western states, focus on education and development. And they introduced the free education, and which, to the glory of God, enable people like us to become educated. Especially people of us who have parents who are farmers, and our mothers are petty traders, who would have had access to education without that laudable program. Of course, the East was developing on its own, the North was developing on its own. Then it became a little better in 1963 when we became a republic. But a tragedy happened in 1966. The military struck. So when the military struck, they reversed all the good things we would have achieved. All the good things we achieved were actually reversed. The first thing they did was to suspend the Republican Constitution and impose a unitary constitution upon Nigeria. Since that time, all efforts to correct that imbalance has not yielded good result. Today, that most of the exclusive list of federal government is like elephants in the house that cannot run. So federal government really took over control of everything. That is why up to today we still have governors going to Abuja, caps in hand, to beg for funds. So our journey to greatness was halted in 1966, and we have not recovered. Because unfortunately, even the so-called 1999 Constitution again was midwiped by the military. And if you will agree with me, all efforts have been made to create a kind of a semblance of People's Constitution since 1999, but those efforts have not yet result. I mean, look at all which we now term Jamboree, look at all those assemblage of people by Jonathan administration to fashion for us a new constitution. Where has it ended? It has ended nowhere. So we started on well on regional basis, which was like our strength. Everybody was, and over time it was going to become a kind of a healthy competition among the various regions. Then they collapsed that. So somewhere along the line, the West also, they carve out Midwest out of the Western states. And as at that time, you have cocoa in the West, you have palm oil in the East, you have rubber plantation in the Midwest, then you have the groundnut pyramid in Kano. So we have our resources. Then the oil came, and it became like a cost to us. Then because we became a rental economy. So because we became a rental economy, we become less productive. Before now, you see a lot of industrial layouts in Ikeja, in Ibadan, in Kano, in Naba, everywhere. What has happened to them? When you go around all this area, it is a sorry state. Many of them, in fact, you have religious organizations buying them more than anything else. So rather than developing and expanding those factories, we turn them to place of worship. So we worship God, which is good, but unfortunately, we are also not a righteous people. Even right now where we are worshiping God, somebody is stealing. Somebody is impregnating the leader's wife, or the wife is impregnating the person is canceling. So it's a paradox. It's a contradiction. So we started on well in 1960. We were doing well up to 1966. Then the military came, and then in 1976, when Muritala came, and they purged the civil service. Again, that created a problem that we all pay dearly for today. So in those days, when you are going to office in the morning, people usually their Peugeot car or Volkswagen B2. In those days, you are level 7. They give you like about 3,500. You buy a new Volkswagen, and 4,800 if you are level 7. Then when you are level 9 above, they give you about 9,600. They buy new Peugeot, brand new, with AC, and they do comprehensive insurance, and they even watch it in typical Nigeria entertainment. So people will be going to the office, and they listen to news, 7 o'clock news, and you will hear that as a permanent secretary you have been sacked, and that you should hand over to the next officer. So they created tenure inconsistency. So what did that give to the nation? So when people now become a palm sec or a director, they are more concerned about making as much money as they can make. It's no longer about service to the people. So public service collapsed. So then the same thing with education. So education collapsed because three things that should have helped us. Our education should have helped us. Then agriculture collapsed because we have oil money. Everybody is looking for. Everybody became emergent contractors, carry portfolio, and people are just trading. You go, if you know somebody in the ministry, you get your paper, and somebody is waiting for you in the car park. You sell the paper to him. You make your million and you go your way. You don't even do the job. Remember, in 1983, the military sacked the government because the politicians were collecting 10% of contracts, so that the contractor is given 90%. And they felt that the government, the contractors were doing shoddy job. Today, what do we have? The civil service, we collect 90% and give 10% to the contractor. And the contractor will not do what would the contractor will do 10%. So it's like the purging of the civil service was supposed to be for good intention, but it turned out to be to create a psychological problem that was not envisaged when that exercise was carried out. So today, even from assistant director, you already think that they can sack you any moment. So when they even issue, allocation, they call it allocation rather. I've never been part of them. As training, they give it to somebody to direct. Okay, you organize. You are in charge of this training. The guy calls a consultant and says, okay, this is this training. This is the amount. I'm giving you 30%. Go and do the training anyhow. Some of us who have good conscience will say, no, we'd rather go hungry, will not do it. Some will say, what? Marginal income. They will do it. They will do a kind of shoddy job. Nobody is watching. So that is why today, apart from politicians, the richest class of people are the civil servants, especially the senior one among them. So there is no public service. There is no public commitment. So everybody caters for himself. Everybody wants to escape poverty individually. And unfortunately, only negligible number of people have access to the pot of soup, as we call it in Nigeria, to the Commonwealth. To our Commonwealth. So and those people, they go there. They no longer, before they used to go with spoon, but now they go with bowl. They scoop it with bowl, and there's nothing left for everybody. So it is a sad. We are moving backward rather than moving forward. I've written a lot of poems, articles on all these things before. If you read Premium Times, or even if you go to my wall, if you have the time, you go to my wall on Facebook, you will see a lot of this stuff there. So we took a downward slope from 1966, and I bet we have not recovered. And I'm even scared whether we will be able to recover, unless there is a new generation of people, who decide to focus more on nation building rather than personal enrichment. So it is,
all right, sir. I will take you there, but first of all, let me ask you this question. I would like you to answer this as short or as brief as you can. Many Nigerians believe that we started on a wrong foundation. Do you agree?
It's neither yes or no answer. We started mistrusting ourselves. We started on a level of mistrust, no doubt about that. Do we still mistrust ourselves? Yes, we still do. But over time, the political class have closed their ranks. There is little or no mistrust among the political class, especially if there is something to share. I have I've said it over and I'm saying it now on, international platform, that one political party that is truly pan-Nigerian, that has ever been pan-Nigeria is PDP. But unfortunately, the connecting factor for PDP is corruption. So what would have been a beneficial concept, idea for Nigeria has an undertone that is very, very bad. Corruption unites PDP members, but it is it has only been the one truly national political party we ever had in Nigeria. And if it is possible to purge it of corruption, it would have been one political party that would have been able to move Nigeria forward. But unfortunately, it is embedded in corruption. So there is still mistrust. But politicians, when there's something to steal together, they don't mistrust themselves.
All right. All right. I love a few of those statements you've made, such as the military came, I quickly note it down, but I'm still going to that, So before I get to that, I have another question here, and it will be, how would you describe the current Nigeria, compare the current Nigeria with where we started from in terms of prospects for the future. Looking at the future, how would you describe this current Nigeria and your knowledge of the past?
When we talk about current Nigeria, if we are looking at Nigeria holistically, or we want to look Nigeria at our leadership, I think we should be able to differentiate between these two. The current crop of leadership will not take us anywhere. They will not take us anywhere. They've lost steam. They've lost ideas. They cannot take us anywhere. They don't think straight any longer. But I'm hoping that a new leadership will emerge. How it will emerge, I don't know. But I hope and sincerely pray that a new leadership will emerge that can take. We have what it takes to be great. But we have this short-term mentality. They once asked somebody, an eminent professor, that what is a long time in Nigeria? He said 24 hours. And if a nation has 24 hours as the longest time, then you know there's a problem. So we do things, we only think about today. We hardly think about tomorrow. We hardly have that patience for tomorrow. So I used to tell people that one example actually, the comparison between a cocoa farmer and a yam farmer. So sorry, I'm a village boy. So when you are a yam farmer, you plant your yam around November, and by May, June, you are making noise in the neighborhood, planting yam left, right. Everybody is enjoying. Everybody is happy. You go to the bush, carry your rabbit and rodent and your vegetable and everything, and you are smiling. And the cocoa guy is there waiting. Those varieties takes about 5 years before they can produce. And the guy now will survive on self-growing banana, plantain, self-growing cocoyam, and all those minor things. So that is why, permit me to speak Yoruba a bit. That's why they make that proverb. So when during the first season, when the cocoa is fully mature and is now bringing seed, so they have to eliminate all those all the plantains so that they no longer share nutrients with the cocoa. So meanwhile, in the first season that the cocoa farmer will go to the market, in those days he come out and buy a rally bicycle, and He built a house. Our young farmer is still there, planting his yam, sissing out. And sometimes he run foul of yam. Sometimes he even eats the yam at the ceiling, just like my last poem, which many people don't even understand what it means. I say the prodigality of Ojechu Jelagbe. So if you are from Ekiti, you understand that. So when you eat the yam and you eat this yam seedling, forgetting that there will be another season to plant. So you see most of these young farmers, they become Ojechu Jelagbe. They just eat everything. Our current politicians, they are Ojechu Jelagbe. They eat the yam, they eat the seedlings. So that is why I'm not too hopeful about the current leadership to take us out of the wood. We need a new leadership to emerge who has the mentality of a cocoa farmer, somebody that can endure, somebody that see governance as a marathon and not as a sprint, so that you just run, collect your own money and go your own way. So we need that kind of attitude, the right attitude to governance, to governance. People who cater for the people, who is not, I mean, the truth is that if you become a governor today, there is likelihood that people will come to your village and they will tell you it's your time. Unless you are very stubborn and you tell them, look, I'm here to serve, then you'll be able to achieve much. I'm hoping that a new leadership will emerge that will do that. We have some, like in last year election, we have a lot of young guys, brilliant guys who came up, but they were telling them they didn't have experience. And I asked people, who get experience from his mother's womb? Isn't that when you have you have opportunity, you have experience? So we need people who sometimes they can be daredevil, permit me to use that word, who are ready. Look, we have to do this. We just have to do it. That is what we hope the military will do. We are going to do in 1966. But it turned out that most of them are a bunch of rascals that they didn't have any focus. I'm sorry to use that word on this platform.
It's okay, sir. It's okay. You can admit you are still civil. I want to take you on the military again because I'm really interested. My dad is actually a retired soldier, and even though I'm not saying he contributed to the way Nigeria is today, but let me go to my question. My question is the impact of. I want you to just do an analysis on the impact of the former military rulers and the current ex-military rulers who have actually joined politics today, who are still, personally, I feel like the nation is still in their hands. They've ruled. I want you to do a review on those who ruled as military head of state and as either politicians or maybe in whichever way now.
Well, the thing is not even about, it's not about personality now. It is about a system. We inherited a system from the military. Have you not had government officials still saying today, we are not going back. We have decided this is what we are going to do, and there is no going back. That is military language. You go to a minister will come and we announce a policy. The people are protesting that, look, you did not even carry us along. We don't accept this policy. And the guy will tell you, look, there is no going back. That is the military look. So the military inclination is what is even the issue, not even the individuals now. Even when you go to local government chairman who has never been in the military, he still behave the same way. You cannot address a local government chairman and you don't say your excellency or your honorable. He will not listen to you. Those are military hangover. So it is more psychological and it has become systemic that we have this military mentality. I wrote recently about what the woman who said that every household benefited from palliatives. And we said, okay, tell us who are who. And they said, people said they prefer to be anonymous. Anonymous in Nigeria, That doesn't make sense. I said it on one radio program. Michael was there. 2 or 3 days ago, what did we hear? That they traced that money to somebody's account. Now, there may be nothing that will happen. One of the things that we inherited from the military is impunity. Because an average military man tells us that you are a bloody civilian. You don't have a right. You just obey and then before complain. I mean, when I was in primary school, in my little mind, I asked them, okay, if I've obeyed, what am I complaining for afterwards? You should allow me to complain first before I obey. So then, after I've complained, you listen to my complaint. Then it is now be whether I should really obey or should not obey. But if you force me to obey and you say I should complain, what am I complaining for? So impunity, lack of engagement, disregard for stakeholders, all these are military legacy that even the current crop of politicians are still operating with. It's not even the individuals. It's not whether the current president has been a military man before or not. Even go to your local government, even an average councillor behave the same way. They have not been to the military. They have not been to. They have never. Many of them have never, worn any uniform before. But the mentality, the psychology, is there. So the impunity that we inherited from the military, those are the things that happen today. So that is why somebody will say, okay, you should be praising government. Say for what? For doing what he promised he sought election for to do. Why should I praise him? You are there to serve. If you serve well, you don't deserve praise. The only thing is that we will not condemn you. You are safe for our condemnation, but you don't have to praise you because that is your job.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. I mean the answer. Sorry. I want Michael to go ahead and shoot his own question before I go to the next thing on my agenda.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for those quite opening, eye-opening comments, statements. I know the younger generation or rather my generation and generation after me, we actually live to pick one or two lessons from what you've said. What we call it in political science, the dictatorial tendencies in our leaders is one of the factors that has actually led us to where we are as a people, which you have earlier posited. Then going forward, I want to ask this question, and perhaps you elaborate based on your personal opinion. Since Nigeria returned to a republic, the Fourth Republic, since the beginning of Fourth Republic, there is this argument that Nigeria has never had a president. All we ever had, all of them were, or rather, they are circumstantial presidents. How do I mean? Somebody will tell you that because what do you call his name, Olusegun Obasanjo, was in Yola prison because of his friendship with Shehu Musa Yaradua, he was then compensated to come after his exit from Yola prison to come and be the president of Nigeria. We saw that game play out. Then when he was leaving, the same friend he had, the younger brother of his friend, late Umaru Musa Yaradua, we saw the way he brought him in. And when Shehu Musa Yaradua was the president of governor of Katsina State, he said he was only interested in returning back to classroom after he completed his tenure as governor of Katsina State. We saw how the whole game, the imbroglio, everything, how it played out. Then while that one also was leaving, the man that had no shoe, the Otoeke man, also made his own statement. We know he was a deputy governor before he became the governor, and then he was unpicked again to be the vice president because of different circumstances. Then let us look at the present state of the nation. I know Buhari emerged on the fact that we're tired of PDP, so we just had sympathy it was a reactive vote, not really vote per se, because we never saw anything they brought to table to tell us, to tell Nigerians that they want to do for us. So looking at all these circumstances put together, would you agree that we have only succeeded in having circumstantial president since the beginning of Fourth Republic? Because we are in the Fourth Republic now, and we can see how things are playing out after over 20 years.
Well, there are so many fundamentals that maybe I should mention briefly. I will still relay a republic. Our republicanism was suspended in 1866. We are only a republic in name, so let's not deceive ourselves. Republic is when people inputs are very important into decision-making process. How many of the citizen inputs go into decision-making process today? So that is that. Circumstantial is not a limitation to perform well. Let me take you through the Bible line. Did they not bring Joseph from the prison just to interpret a dream? Did he not save them from 7 years of famine? So circumstantial leadership is not a limitation when there is a sense of purpose. I think one of the problems we have in Nigeria is that we have people who seek power without purpose. So when you don't have purpose, you are just, what we have now is positional authority, positional leadership, not purposeful leadership. So, and there's a lot of difference between the two. So when you are a positional leader, you are just there warming cities and you are doing a routine job. So look, I can't come and go and kill myself. Problem no they finish. But when you have a purpose, that purpose becomes like an inner engine that drives you. Before 1966, the purpose in Western Nigeria was development and education. And everything that was done, it was driven by that two purposes. So today, what we say is our purpose. Of course, I've read, I've scanned through what the president said this morning, that he has done more than any government before him has done. Fine, statistics is very good. We know the limitation in statistics. Thank God, Michael is a researcher too. So, while if he's praising himself, good, he should clap for himself, but I will supposed to clap for him if poverty is still as terrible as it is, if all public institutions have collapsed, you can't go to public school. I told my children here some days ago, after quite a number of times, that if I have grown up in Nigeria today with the circumstances I was brought up, that I would never go to school. And they were shocked. I told them yes, because I could only afford public school. So now public school, what do they do? Go do in public school. Children go to public school and they have to break melon, egusi. That's what they do for the teachers. So they don't. So our public institution, public health system is collapsed. Public education is collapsed. What is there in the public? I just spoken with some group of people about electricity. Public electricity is collapsed. Nothing is working. So it is not because of the circumstance. It's because they lack purpose. I wrote in December, I think. I said we should. I was conversing for a purpose-driven budgeting system, not just a case of just assembling figures together and we call it budget, and the National Assembly, stamp it. I was also reading a very sad story this week that NUC budgeted 8 million for research and 85 million for cars. So that's very ridiculous. Nigerian University Commission, so that in case people don't know, if a Nigerian University Commission is budgeting 8 million for research and 85 million to buy cars, is that not a misplacement of priority? I wrote an article recently about that too on Premier Times about that we need to get our priority right. So it's because we don't have our priority right that is the issue. It's not the issue of the circumstance in which they came to office. Again, we have also concluded that we don't really have democracy in Nigeria. Because from what your analysis, you are simply saying that this person come and say this is the next president. This person come and say this is the next president. So what democracy do we practice then? What do we vote? Who do we vote for? What was the purpose of those elections? Given the amount of resources that were channeled towards election, if it is just a case of somebody and picking somebody, which may be the true situation, then have we really started?
Thank you so much, sir. There's so much to say, but I'll move to the next question. The next question now is when you look at Singapore, Singapore got our independence in 1965. Nigeria got ours in 1960. So, like I told you earlier before this event, this program, that I had seen some of the things that was written by Lincoln Ayo. Okay, he was saying that in those early days of independence, he traveled through those nations that had just gotten independence, namely Nigeria, Ghana, I think maybe Gabon and a few other countries. All right. And then he was saying that specifically that based on what our leaders, the leaders of those days were doing, that looking at the picture today, that he is not surprised. All right. So, and if somebody could, that was before the 1980s that he was referring to, which means that something is fundamentally wrong. So I'd want you to look at what is wrong with Nigeria that wasn't wrong with Singapore.
Well, it is very clear and very obvious. I am not surprised that what he saw, what he observed. Maybe what he saw also helped him to sit down and say, okay, what do I want for my country? So his leadership was purpose-driven. What is missing in most of the country in Nigeria, in most of the country as he mentioned, was like we lack purpose. I said that a few minutes ago. Our leadership lack purpose. People today they are already campaigning for 2023 for what? What is the purpose? Nobody tells you what this is why I want to be the president. You say, okay, this is my turn, this is our turn. That is just it. So Singapore was purpose driven, and they also saw a leader who exhibited that purpose, who was transparent with that purpose. You see, it's not difficult to lead people sometimes. If you are transparent, if you communicate your purpose and it resonates with the people. Yes, there will always be resistance. Any system will there be resistance. There are people who don't just like the status quo to change. But over time, they also switch. So I think for instance, when Muritala came in, unfortunately, he didn't live too long. He was killed. And we thought that, okay, this is like a man with purpose. He showed sign of purpose. But unfortunately, it was him also that destroyed the civil service, as I said earlier on. This is a fact of history anyway. So now when people just take over power just for the aggrandizement of it, just for the pride of being in power, they won't do much. That is what I believe he saw when he went around. He saw that, look, these people don't have purpose. They are just occupying position. They are just positional leaders. Positional leadership cannot take you far. But purposeful leadership will take you. So what transformed Singapore? Because they had purpose. The same thing that transformed Dubai to what it is now. You have purposeful leadership. Say, look, yeah, this is a desert, but we can transform this place. That is purpose. Tell me today, do you know what purpose any of our leader has? I don't know any. Other than it is our turn. Or I am better than my neighbor. There's a generator they call better past my neighbor. So what if you are comparing failure with failures? So what is the big deal? So leadership, many countries who had independence before Singapore, but lack purpose, did not achieve any result. Even China, when they were lepers of the world, they look inward, they became purposeful. Today they've taken over a lot of things. They are even almost colonizing us now. So,
Yeah. Unfortunately, people, a lot of people are accusing China of, making attempt to colonize some part of the world now, especially in Africa. You know, so Nigeria
they are actually doing it. It's beyond attempt. It's a
is
deliberate purpose.
well. Since I have a philosophy, and that is the fact that if you don't have your own independent mind, you're not able to make decisions for yourself. People around naturally will make decisions for you. It is a natural force that happens to everybody or society. So I guess that's what is happening because Nigeria is like a nation without a national ambition or vision, just like you said. Anyway, I go to this. There's something that I saw somewhere today, and I'm going to post it to you. The person said, "Happy Independence." No, the person replied and said, "No, it's not Happy Independence. Independence." He said, "It's Happy Independence." Did you get that?
Yeah, happy independence.
Mm. Do you
In
agree with that?
dash dependence.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I agree with the person to a very reasonable extent. It's like if just we are just saying, I mean, jokingly that if we still need Chinese people to come and develop our economy, if we are always looking for loan from them, even when we are selling our future, are we really, you know, independent? My take is I've also written some article or point about that. When this I think it was in 1985 or thereabout when the late Sani Okosun sang "Who owns the land?" My response to that article was that look, who controls the land? It is not about who owns, but who controls. You can own something. If you don't know how to use, somebody will come and control it for you. That is what we are seeing panning out. So if you are not controlling your own resources, you are still dependent on somebody to control you. I still tell people, and I don't think I owe any apology for that, that Nigeria is not an oil producing country. Nigeria owns oil, or half oil rather. We don't produce it. We are not the producer. So when they say we are in the committee of oil producing Nigeria, I say you are deceiving ourselves. We don't produce nothing. Our government doesn't even know the volume of oil that is produced every day. We don't know. It's what Shell and Chevron or Mobil give us that we accept. Or they know because of corruption they don't own up. So we don't produce anything. That is why today we are still thinking of we are still importing finished petroleum products. We don't produce. We have. They all just happen to be in our backyard. So we lack purpose.
Thank you, sir. Michael, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, because we need to, we've been discussing about the past, we've been discussing about the present, and I think there is need for us to examine the future. Looking at the ethnic agitations here and there, secessionist group coming up, the Harewa, the IPOB, the Oduduwa, and when we look at this, we know the marriage that brought Nigeria together is shaking at the moment. And if we look at the recent comment of the vice president, the recent comment of the secretary to the government of the federation has been about Nigeria, like the future is going to be quite challenging, perhaps there may be no nation. I'm just paraphrasing. That wasn't the exact statement. If this agitation should continue. Of course, we know that nepotism, ethnicity, religion has bedeviled up us as a people in a very significant manner. But redressing all this, what do you think Nigeria can do at this time to actually get it right, if at all we ever, if at all we ever do that?
Okay, I will go to be brief because I'm almost running out of time. I have other engagement after this one. So the thing is this: the statement you are alluding to has been denied, which is usually for me when they say government of just says something, I wait for 72 hours because I know they will deny it. So they will deny this one you are mentioning. Yes, the time is ominous. The terms are not good. We must not deceive ourselves. But I believe we might luckily escape this time and things get back to normal. We have on our hands opportunity to make things right now. We have swept a lot of things under the carpet for too long, but I tell you, the bubble will burst. If we don't do things, if we don't take reasonable steps to address all these lapses, we can't continue to wave them with just say, look, they're just making noise. They will soon keep quiet. The bubble will burst, and if it bursts, it will do no one any good. So it's just like when you are, nobody knows where this thing can fall. Nobody is sure of anything. Things are not normal. And except we take a courageous step to address things that are not normal, I don't know. The house might just collapse. I pray, I wish it doesn't. But if you continue at this, we are not going back attitude, we may get to a point that we can no longer help it. I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I have one more question left, but before I get to that, I'd like you to tell us about your book.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
The Thought of a Village Boy.
Yeah, The Thought of a Village Boy is a compendium of many ideas that span business, economics, politics, policy, some nice poem for those who like poems and all that. It's a collector item. If you have it, you need it. He's also speak about the history of Nigeria. Some history of Nigeria also interjected here and there. Yeah, Michael has read it. Maybe to speak about it too. Briefly, I have limited time though because I have other engagement, like I said.
Yeah.
So
Michael had told me about the book, but since you are running out of time, I'd like you to please take one more question before you go. So, and this question is just like a look into the future. All right. So, what would you say to those Nigerians who have either already mentally seceded from Nigeria, or people who are looking for physical secession? What is your personal advice to them?
it's not them that I will advise. It is the people that run Nigeria that I will advise. Give these people hope to believe in Nigeria again.
Well, I think there's
give them concrete hope to believe in Nigeria again. That's what the leader should do. It's not the problem. Everybody wants to believe in our nation. But the current crop of leaders, do they give me hope to believe in Nigeria? No, they don't. Many of us, we just decided, look, irrespective of the situation, Nigeria is our own. We are not going to abandon her. But there are people who have had enough. Say, look, I'm done. So the leadership should give these people hope. Give them something meaningful. That is okay. Let's look back about this thing. maybe Nigeria may still work. So give them hope. Hello?
Thank you so much for your time with us today. I wish we have more time to, discuss some of these things. But since you have other engagement, we will let you go, and perhaps we will queue and look for an opportunity to bring you on. And because we want to still discuss about Nigeria, there's so much to be discussed or to be, examined about Nigeria. But thank you for being with us. We really
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too. Thank you. I also apologize. The engagement now is also for the, for the common good. So you're also invited to join us just the 9 minutes from now. So I will also be calling a kind of a training to teach people, entrepreneurs and other things. So with somebody else will be giving a kind of free training on how to run better business despite the situation in Nigeria. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me. Thank you for
Thank you so much, sir.
this. Yeah. Thank you. God
Yeah.
bless. Happy Independence again. Yeah.
You're
God
welcome,
bless.
sir. Same to you.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right, Michael, would you want to, give an opinion about Nigeria? You are
What
muted.
I would, what I would just love to tell young Nigerians is this, and there is no point beating around the bush because I belong to the generation of the younger ones, the young Nigerians. So I will still maintain the position that irrespective of the agitations here and there, of course, there has been school of thoughts about nations that have succeeded in succeeding from one nation and turning to the other, the likes of Sudan, South Sudan, that is still boiling at the point. And of course, the likes of Pakistan that also got away from India. And Italy were made to understand, I read it, that history is also made up of a community of different set of races. So what I'm saying in essence is this: if our leaders, just as Mr. Bolutife said, can give us a sense of hope, sense of patriotism, sense of nationhood, and I want to believe that these are the way of sinking into the subconscious mind of everybody to understand the fact that I am a Nigerian. And it has to do with leading by example. The
Michael,
public.
Michael, I think Nigerians have gone past the level of hope because all we've been having is hope.
Oh, let me say this. I've always said it. I think I took this statement from Bishop Matthew Azamkuka. He will always tell us that as
Okay.
Christians, the only commodity we sell is hope. So we still keep marketing that hope. But by the way, things are not working. The economy is not smiling. Education is giving us education that is free of knowledge. In the last 72 hours thereabout, I've traveled almost 9 states in the country. And the only thing I could see everywhere is just a language of poverty. I left Ilorin 6 a.m. That was on Monday. I didn't get to Abuja until after 14 hours. A journey that ordinarily shouldn't take me more than 7 hours. Because of what? The road is in a very dilapidated state. And year in, year out, they tell us that
No,
they
I
are.
can't believe that. I mean, there's been a lot of people saying Buhari has fixed so many roads. How can Ilorin Abuja road
No,
be bad?
there is no point deceiving ourselves. Either you go through Niger State or you go through Kogi State, you still face similar problem. So what we are saying is this, and because all these guys we are talking, in fact, I just came back from Lagos now. I applied Oyo Ogbomoso Road. That is another death trap on its own. And if Lagos Ibadan Express Road, they've been working on this road since 1999, since we returned back to democracy. Go to Oyogbomoso Road, the same thing. Go to Abuja Abaji, Lokoja Road, the same thing. Go to Bida, Mina, Jeba, all this road, everything. We are losing the lives of citizens on daily basis. And year in, year out, there's always budgetary allocation for some of these things. They will tell us that they are doing this, they are doing that. Who are they deceiving? So, if as a citizen of a nation of Nigeria, I cannot assess, because these are the things that citizens they need. If the good road can be provided, if electricity can be provided, if health facilities can be provided, education, all these things, they are not rocket science at all. So what we are saying in essence is that leadership determines the rise or the fall of any society. But very unfortunately, both the leaders we have succeeded in having, or rather that have succeeded in turning themselves into public offices, whether at the executive level, at the legislative level, and perhaps at the judiciary, because we know all these guys operate as cartel. They have mortgaged the destiny of Nigeria. Nigeria is now like a cow staggering that has been extracted, that milk has been over extracted from it to the point of milk is no longer coming out but discharging blood. Today I saw a picture on Facebook and I was like asking myself, because at this particular time everybody is entitled to their opinion. This young lady wore a Nigerian flag, green, white, green, now caged herself and was weeping. Nigerians are weeping. She took another picture inside the incinerator. Is Nigeria not being has Nigeria not been pushed into the incinerator? So enough of this illusion that we are still advancing democracy, or even nations that are not practicing democracy, they are practicing monarchical system of government. We understand how things are turning around for them economically, politically, but unfortunately, our leaders, they have succeeded in profiteering from our commonwealth to the detriment, at the detriment of every one of us. So this narrative must change. And permit me to say this, that if as citizens we don't wake up from our slumber, the wrong set of leaders will continue to emerge in a nation like ours. Because citizen, the office of the citizen is the highest office in any democracy. So, but unfortunately, we have succeeded in promoting men to see themselves as demigods that are unquestionable, men that should not be questioned. No, it's not it. So I do ask myself, is this the type of nation I want to bequeath to my own son, to my daughter? Won't they ask me someday that, Dad, what were you looking when Nigeria was going in the path of dungeon? So I want to challenge all young people out there. Let us engage these people. Let us ask them questions. They are our servants. They are being paid with our commonwealth. Let us engage them. Let us tell them they are not doing right. And Mr. Bolutife made a statement that I think I need to talk further buttress on. Enough of shouting or showering encomium on them that a political office holder bought a transformer in a location or constructed a road. It's nothing to be celebrated. It's nothing, because that is why they were voted into power, to fix social problems. But unfortunately, we have seen all these as what I call benefits, or rather, we have seen all this as favor. So we need to wake up from our slumber if we will ever get it right as a nation. If the conditional statement will always be there. If.
Michael, we have about 2 minutes to go, but I have a few questions. I can see from you that it seems like all that you have experienced in the last few hours has gotten to you.
No. It's killing. I'm tired as I'm talking.
I can see that. Now, I want you to take that into account. What you have seen outside there today or since the past few hours. I want you to take it into account and look at what I saw on President Buhari's Twitter handle earlier today. He said it does not make sense for Nigeria to be selling petrol cheaper than it is in in Saudi Arabia.
Well, as someone who values human dignity, so well, I will always say anybody can express their opinion, but not every opinion is acceptable in the ears of the public. So the president has said his own, he's entitled to his own opinion, it's his right. But even I'm so sure that his political associates, his political the member of his cabinet, there are some of them that will not agree with that statement. Okay, we have 4 refineries that are already in moribund state. Nothing happening there. So if we have 4 functional refineries, does the president want to tell us as citizens that the price of PMS will not come down? We are not producing oil, as Mr. Bolutife said. We are only, I think we should stop claiming the glory that does not belong to us. So enough of all these statements. They are all political statements. No element of sincerity, no element of human compassion in all of this.
Okay, Michael, finally, I'm still tapping into your experience today. Okay, I wish I have time to do that very well. Okay, so still tapping into your what you've experienced the last 2 to 3 days on the road in various Nigerian states. Would you say the leader that cannot construct simple road? I mean simple road. Because honestly, if the people themselves begin to gather and say, as a community, we want to construct our own road, they will probably do better than the government is doing. So now, do you think the government, I'm not talking about this Buhari government, I'm talking about let's say in the last 20 years, that cannot construct reasonably good roads across the nation. Do you expect them, or should we Nigerians expect them to build institutions that will sustain Nigeria?
The question you've asked just now is as a result of the poor state of institution we have in the nation. So
I know
what the institutions are already dead. Don't let us say the institution is staggering. The institution is dead. So all we are hoping is a resurrection. That is all we are hoping. No, there is no gainsay. There is no point beating around the bush. There is practically no sector in the country today that is not in mess. So once all the institutions we have in the nation, they're in a state of they are dead. Let me use that language. So you don't expect anything good to come out of some of these institutions. Do you want to tell me that the legislators do carry out oversight functions on the road they claim they have been constructing since 1999? We know stories surrounding some of the state of our roads. Even they will construct building, the buildings will still collapse. They will construct it will collapse. Just talk of, in fact, it's disheartening. It's disheartening. Unfortunately, these guys, they don't fly the road. They fly jets up and down. So I wish they can even go to their village by road. They won't, because their villages, they are not, I mean, the villages are not secured, the road is not secured. Even if you are traveling through Bida, Bida Mina Road, you even be scared. I was trapped in the bush for almost 3 hours. Almost 3 hours, no help. So we need to, let me say, Nigeria needs resurrection. That is just my final statement on this. Nigeria needs resurrection.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Michael. We thank
Thank you.
Mr. Bolu in absentia too. Thank you, viewers. It is opinion sharers, where your opinion matters, where you can say whatever it is that you want to say. Okay, please do follow us. Follow us on all our platforms. We are here on Facebook, on Twitter. We're there. We are also on YouTube. That's very important. Please, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe or to follow or to like. It doesn't cost money. Please do follow us because we'll be discussing a lot of these issues that are very, very important. Thank you so much. So we'll be back again in a few days' time with some other interesting issues about Nigeria and the world around us. Thank you once again. Michael, thank you.
Thank you for having me.